The stars above, Vexor 9, shimmered like quiet ghosts. The planet, a dusty gray sphere at the edge of the Milky Way, had known peace for a long time. The Zarn people, soft-skinned and thin-limbed, were not made for war. They built tall glass towers and quiet gardens. They preferred music and study to anything violent. But today, their skies burned. Dark ships fell from orbit like iron rain. The Kordak swarm had coned. Insect-like and cold, the Kordak moved without mercy. Their claws tore through metal. Their lasers lit up the night. Entire cities were crushed. In hours, the Zarn screamed, but their weapons were too weak. Their defense systems, built for minor threats, fell apart under real war. In the capital city of Telenor, High Elder Sovo stood in front of the emergency command table. His pale hands shook, lights flashed red, screens showed chaos, buildings fell, fires raged, bodies lay in the streets. "Send the call," he said, barely louder than a whisper. The signal technician beside him, young and terrified, nodded quickly. Her name was Kelly. She opened the long-range beacon, linked it to the Galactic Union's emergency channel, and began the process. High-priority distress call sender, Zarn, collective. Subject, Vexornine, under attack, threat level, extinction, immediate, military support required. Repeat, immediate military support required. The message shot into the stars. The Galactic Union sat far away in the center of the galaxy. Many species made up the Union. Some were tall and strong, some were small and smart. All had one thing in common: they did not like humans. Earth had joined the Union only a few years ago. Their people were strange, loud, and too bold. They came from a Deathworld, a planet so dangerous that even the air could kill. Other species called them Wild Dot. The Union Council met quickly. They saw the XRN distress signal. Some wanted to ignore it, others argued for action. In the end, they chose to send help, but most of their fleets were already busy. Piracy in the Outer Belts, trade war with the Varn Dominion. There was only one group free, Task Group 73-E. It was human. The message reached Earth within hours. Deep below the Rocky Mountains, in a hidden command center, General Elijah Cole read the signal. He had sharp gray eyes and a hard jaw. He tapped his screen, thinking, "Get me Captain Luke Harris." Now, Luke Harris had been on leave. He was at a small cabin near a forest lake, fishing and enjoying silence. When the call came, he stood, dropped the fishing rod, and didn't complain. He knew what it meant. 3 hours later, he walked into the command center in full uniform. General Cole looked up and nodded. "You're taking Grendel's Fury," Cole said. "Zarn colony is being overrun by the Kordak. Just us." Luke asked, "You and your team, no backup for now. Fast response mission." Luke gave a small smile. Figures Grendel's Fury was not a large ship, but it was fast, smart, and deadly. Covered in black stealth plates and armed with railguns, magnetic torpedoes, and a smart AI named Iris. The ship had earned respect in quiet corners of space. It did not need a fleet. It was a ghost with teeth dots soon. The crew was called in. Rachel Stone, the sniper with ice blue eyes and a calm voice. Maria Quinn, the tech expert who could hack anything. Leo Carter, big and steady, with a heavy machine gun. Others followed. Each had their place. Each had seen death. They packed light. They moved fast. In the hangar, the Grendel's Fury waited. Lights glowed under her hull. Engines purred. She was ready. "We jump in 12 minutes, Luke said to his team, standing by the ramp. No one asked questions. They never did. They trusted him. Back on Vexornine, the Zarn were losing hope. The Kordak had taken the eastern hemisphere. Towers were falling. Their sky defense grid was nearly gone. High Elder Sovo sat in a shelter, surrounded by children. He closed his eyes and whispered, "Please let someone come." At that moment, the stars above flashed. A ripple in the clouds. Then silence. Grendel's Fury had arrived. Grendel's Fury moved through space like a shadow. The stars outside were still, but inside the ship, everything was alive. The crew moved fast, checking weapons, systems, and supplies. They had done this before, many times, but this mission felt different. It was not just a rescue, it was a warning to the galaxy. Earth would not stand by. Captain Luke Harris sat in the command chair. His eyes were sharp, watching the screen. Vexernine was still far, but getting closer with each jump. The ship's AI Iris spoke in a calm voice. Estimated time to arrival, for hours. Kordak activity detected in high orbit. Enemy numbers are high. Any Union ships in the area? Luke asked. None, Captain. We are the first to respond, Luke nodded. Sounds about right. Maria Quinn sat at the tech station, her fingers moving fast. She was checking enemy signals, trying to crack their codes. Rachel stone-cleaned her sniper rifle, her face calm as always. Leo Carter loaded heavy rounds into his cannon. He smiled at each click. The crew was small, but tight. They trusted each other. We'll land behind the old ridge, near the main city. Luke said to his team, stay low. Let's find out what's left of the Zarn. Help who we can. Then hit the bugs where it hurts. Rachel looked up. No Union backup. No, Luke replied. Just us. Perfect, she said quietly. Back at the Galactic Union headquarters on the shining world of Ilir Prime, the Council watched the situation. Many members were confused. Some were angry. You sent humans? Asked Counselor Revik of the Solari species, his long arms waving. They were the only task group available. Answered the Union logistics officer. This is madness, Revik said. They are wild, unpredictable. They destroy everything. Counselor Taylor of the Valtari leaned forward. But they survive everything too. Maybe that's what Vexernine needs. Most disagreed. They wanted clean tactics, safe battles, rules. But Earth didn't. Played by those rules. Earth played to win. 4 hours later, Grendel's Fury dropped out of faster-than-light travel. Vexernine appeared on the screen. Smoke covered the planet. Fire dotted the surface. The orbital space was full of Kordak ships. We're going dark, Maria said, pressing keys. The ship vanished from scanners. Stealth plates activated. The engines cooled. Grendel's Fury slipped through the chaos like a ghost. We'll land 5 clicks from the capital, Luke said. Gear up. The drop door is opened. Wind roared. Dust rose. The crew moved fast. Boots hit the ground. The team spread out, weapons ready. The land was dry and cracked. Dead trees bent in the wind. A strange silence covered everything. Maria scanned the area. No friendly signals yet. Let's keep moving, Luke said. They moved through the ruins, staying low. Broken roads, burned houses, crushed vehicles. The Kordak had hit hard, but under the damage, signs of life remained. A handprint on glass, a flicker of power, a broken music player still playing a soft tune. Rachel raised a hand. She had seen something, a small motion under rubble. Leo rushed over and lifted a large chunk of wall. Under it, a Zarn child stared up, eyes wide. The child was shaking. We got a survivor, Leo said. More XRN appeared from a hidden door. They looked weak and scared. High Elder Sovo stepped forward. His robe was torn, but his eyes still held strength. You came, he said softly. We did, Luke said. Name's Captain Harris. We're here to help. Sovo looked confused. I thought the Union would send warships, fleets, not humans. Luke gave a small smile. We're what you got. And we don't lose. The Elder hesitated, then nodded. He led them into the shelter. It was small, but had food, water, and power. The crew helped treat the wounded. Maria set up a signal booster. Rachel stood guard outside. How many Kordak in the city? Luke asked. Too many, Sovo said. They come in waves. They dig into the ground. They have flying drones. We tried to fight, but our weapons are too weak. That's about to change, Luke said, back on the ship. Iris sent data to the team. Weak points in enemy patrols. A map of underground tunnels, signals from Kordak hives. The team planned fast. Hit the power grid here, Maria said, pointing to the map. It'll blind their sensors. I can take out the tower here, Rachel added. One shot, big bang, we'll split. Luke said. Maria, Leo, you take the tunnels. Rachel and I will handle the upper city. Let's give the Zarn a reason to believe again. Night fell. The Kordak patrolled the streets, their eyes glowing. But in the shadows, humans moved, silent, quick, deadly. The Deathworlders had arrived. The city of Telenor was almost gone. Tall towers were broken, smoke rose into the sky, and the streets were full of rubble. The Kordak swarm moved like machines. They did not rest. They built hives inside old buildings and patrolled the roads. In packs, the few Zarn who were left stayed hidden in dark basements and cold tunnels. High above, Grendel's Fury floated silently. Hidden by its stealth systems, the ship watched from the sky. Its hull shimmered black, blending into space. Inside, Captain Luke Harris stood over a screen. It showed the city below, glowing in shades of red and blue. "All systems ready," Iris said, her voice clear. Luke looked at the team. "You all know what to do. We hit fast, hit hard, and disappear. No mistakes." They nodded. Rachel Stone loaded her sniper rifle. Maria Quinn checked her hacking tools. Leo Carter held a large weapon on his shoulder. Each one knew their role. Each one had done this before. The ship dropped them near the edge of the city. Dust flew as they landed. They split into two teams. Luke and Rachel moved toward the old command tower. Maria and Leo headed into the underground tunnels as Rachel and Luke moved through the ruins. They kept low. Kordak drones buzzed overhead. Luke raised his hand, and they froze. A patrol passed nearby, their metal legs clicking against the ground. When it was safe, Rachel found a good spot to set up. From the roof of a broken building, she had a clear view of the Kordak hive tower. It stood tall in the center of the city, pulsing with red lights. "Target in sight," Rachel said. "Wait for the signal," Luke replied. In the tunnels below, Maria and Leo moved through darkness. The air was thick and damp. Wires hung from the ceiling. Old lights flickered. They reached the power core of the city. Maria opened a panel and plugged in her device. "I'm in," she said, fingers moving fast. "How long?" Leo asked, watching the tunnel behind them. 3 minutes. If no one bothers me." Above, a Kordak flyer hovered over the city. Its sensors scanned the area. Then it paused. It had found something. A small energy spike. "We've got movement," Iris said in Luke's earpiece. "Rachel, take it out." Rachel lined up the shot. Her fingers squeezed the trigger. The flyer exploded in a ball of fire. The sound echoed across the ruins. "They know we're here," Luke said. "Go loud." Rachel fired again, hitting a tower node. Sparks flew. Power lines snapped. Down below, Maria finished her hack. The city grid failed. Kordak lights blinked off. Their sensors went dark. "We're out," Maria said, grabbing her gear. Leo took the lead, blasting open a path with his cannon. The tunnels shook. Dust fell from the ceiling. Kordak units began to pour in, but the humans were faster. On the surface, Luke threw a smoke grenade and moved through the haze. He reached a small group of Zarn hiding behind a wall. "Follow me," he said. "We're getting you out of here." The Zarn looked shocked. One of them asked, "Are you from the Union?" "No," Luke said. "We're from Earth." Blasts lit up the sky. Grendel's Fury provided cover fire from orbit. Its railguns fired silently, but with power. Kordak ships exploded in the clouds. Maria and Leo reached the evac point. Rachel met them there. Luke arrived last, bringing the Zarn survivors. They all climbed into the drop shuttle. "We got them," Rachel said. "Good work," Luke replied, looking back at the burning city. The shuttle flew back to the ship. As they rose, the damage below became clear. Half the city was gone. The other half was crawling with Kordak, but now they were blind. The power grid was gone. Their main tower was damaged, and they had lost many patrols. They looked around with wide eyes. They had never seen humans before. They had expected a fleet of clean, shining ships and well-dressed officers. Instead, they got dirt-covered soldiers and a ship that looked like a dark monster. But they also saw something else. They saw courage. They saw people who were not afraid. "Hi." Elder Sovo met Luke in the hallway. "You saved them," Sovo said. "You gave us hope. We're not done," Luke replied. "This was just the start." Sovo looked at him. "The Union would not have done this." Luke nodded. "We're not the Union. We're Deathworlders." In the command room, Iris pulled up new data. Enemy hives are regrouping. "We have 6 hours before their next move. Then we hit them first," Luke said. He turned to his team. "Rest for now. We go again soon." They nodded. No one smiled, but in their eyes there was fire. Grendel's Fury moved back into the shadows of space, silent, waiting, planning. The Kordak still held the planet, but the humans had arrived, and they were not leaving. The sky over Vexor 9 was dark, filled with smoke and fire. The Kordak swarm moved across the land like a wave. Their machines crawled over the ruins. Their drones flew through the air, but they did not know that something new was hunting them now. Grendel's fury floated above the clouds, watching everything. Inside, Captain Luke Harris stood with his team. He pointed to a map of the city. Red marks showed Kordak hives. Blue lines marked the tunnels below. "We're going to break them," he said. "Fast hits, no rest. We hit hard and vanish before they react." Maria Quinn smiled as she checked her gear. "Time to make noise." Rachel Stone cleaned her rifle. "Let's make them bleed." They dropped at night. The team split into small groups. Each had a task: blow up a hive, cut off a supply line, hack a command node. The humans moved like ghosts, fast, silent, deadly. Maria and Leo entered an old power plant. It was now filled with Kordak gear. Wires ran across the floor. Eggs stuck to the walls. The air smelled like oil and rot. Maria planted a charge, then another. Leo watched the door, his cannon ready. Timer set, Maria whispered, "Let's go." They ran into the night. Behind them, the plant exploded. Fire lit up the sky. Elsewhere, Rachel climbed to the top of a broken tower. She lay flat, her rifle pointed at a Kordak base. Red lights moved inside the building. She took a breath. One shot. The main power core exploded. "Target down," she said. Luke moved through the streets with 2 other Marines. They threw grenades into Kordak nests. They set traps in alleys. Every move was fast. Every step planned. The Kordak began to notice. They sent more drones. They searched the ruins, but they could not find the humans. Every time they thought they had them, the humans were gone. In one tunnel, a group of Kordak soldiers found a blinking device. They gathered around it. A voice spoke from the shadows. Surprise! Then everything went white. The bomb tore through the tunnel. Nothing was left high above. The Galactic Union began receiving reports. The Zarn colony was not lost. Something was happening. Something the Union had not expected. On the Union station, Counselor Revik watched the screen with wide eyes. "They're winning?" he asked. "Yes, sir," a staff officer replied. "The human unit has destroyed 4 hives in one night." "Kordak losses are high. This is not possible," Revik said. "This is chaos." Counselor Taylor gave a small smile. "No, this is Earth." Back on Vexonine, the humans rested only a few hours. Then they hit again and again. Each strike made the Kordak weaker. Their drones began to glitch. Their commanders grew slow. Maria hacked into a Kordak signal tower. She sent false orders. The Kordak turned on each other. 2 squads fought for 20 minutes before they realized the mistake. Rachel found a high ridge near a hive. She marked targets for the ship above. Grendel's Fury fired kinetic lances from orbit. The shots were silent, but deadly. Each blast crushed a building. The Kordak panicked. Leo led a charge into a broken dome where the Kordak stored weapons. He fired his cannon, clearing a path. Behind him, Zarn survivors followed. They picked up Kordak rifles and began to fight. Captain Luke met with High Elder Sovo in a new shelter. The Elder looked stronger now. There was light in his eyes. "Your people are fierce," Sovo said. "The Kordak are afraid." "They hide now. We're not done," Luke said. "But we need your help. Get your people ready. We'll give you a chance. But you have to stand up," Sovo nodded. "We will." The next night, the humans hit a hive tower in the city center. It was large, strong, full of drones. Luke's team used smoke bombs and flash grenades. Maria hacked the door codes. Rachel picked off guards one by one. Inside, they planted explosives on the main reactor. The building shook. Kordak crawled through vents and walls. Leo blocked the hallway with fire. "We're out of time," Luke shouted. They ran. Just before the building exploded, they jumped from a second-floor window. The blast pushed them into the dust. They got up, coughing, laughing. The tower was gone. A pillar of fire rose into the sky. Grendel's Fury picked them up. As the ship rose, they looked down. The city was still broken, but something had changed. The Kordak were pulling back. The Zarn were rising. Inside the ship, Luke sat with his team. "You did good," he said, "but we're not done yet. The big fight is coming. Rest while you can." Maria leaned back in her seat. "Think the Union is watching." "Let them watch," Rachel said. "We'll show them what humans do." the stars outside burned bright. Grendel's fury flew silent above the world, and the Deathworlders prepared for the next strike. The news of what was happening on Vexernine spread fast. At first, many in the Galactic Union thought it was a mistake. How could one human ship and a small team of soldiers do what full fleets could not? But the reports kept coming. Hive towers destroyed. Kordak supply lines broken. Survivors rescued. The Union officers stared at the screens in silence. Then came the footage. It showed humans fighting with strange skill. They moved through fire. They used smoke and shadows. Their weapons made little noise, but caused great damage. The way they fought shocked many Union commanders. On Ilyar Prime, Counselor Revik paced the floor. He watched a screen showing Rachel Stone make a perfect shot from a ruined tower. The bullet passed through smoke, wires, and glass. It hit a Kordak leader square in the head. "This is madness," Revik said. "No order, no formation, just chaos." Counselor Tayla stood beside him. "But they win." "That shot saved 20 Zarn lives." Revik turned to her. "They're not like us. They don't follow rules. They bring danger," Tayla replied. "Or maybe they bring hope." Back on Vexernine, Grendel's fury flew low through the clouds. The ship had taken a few hits, but still moved fast and silent. Inside, the crew checked weapons, recharged gear, and read the next mission data. Maria Quinn sat at her station, going through the Kordak code. She had hacked a communication node during their last raid. Now she was reading enemy plans. "They're scared," she said. "Kordak units are asking for help. They don't understand what's hitting them." "Good," Luke said. "Fear is useful." Rachel looked at the screen. "Any signs of the next Hive Queen?" Maria nodded. "Yes, she's in a deep nest. Under the old transport yard, heavily guarded, but we know the way in." Leo checked his cannon. "Then let's bring the roof down." High Elder Sovo had changed too. He now wore battle armor from the old Zarn vaults. He trained young survivors to fight. He followed human tactics. Quick strikes, hit and run. Never stay in one place too long. Luke met him outside a broken tower. "We're going for the Queen," Luke said. "When we strike, your people move. Hit the hives in the south." "We will," Sovo said, "because now we believe we can." That night, the humans moved through the tunnels. Maria led the way with her scanner. Rachel followed, her rifle ready. Leo brought up the rear. Luke gave quiet signals with his hand. They reached the nest. It was deep and warm. The walls were alive. Kordak drones moved like insects in a hive. In the center, the Queen rested. She was large, her body glowing red. She gave orders through pulses in the air. Maria set charges on the walls. Rachel marked weak points. Luke waited for the right moment. "Now," he said, the charges blew. The nest shook. The Queen rose in anger, her voice a loud scream. But the humans were already moving. Rachel fired. 1, 2, 3 shots. Leo opened fire too, cutting down drones. The Queen tried to escape, but Maria had sealed the exits. Luke threw a grenade at her base. The blast threw her into the wall. "Finish it," he said. Rachel aimed. One last shot. The Queen fell. Silent outside, the Kordak screamed. Many drones stopped moving. Others lost control. Across the city, the Zarn attacked. Led by Sovo, they hit hard. The Kordak were not ready. The fight lasted until morning. Then the sky was quiet. Smoke rose from broken hives. The Zarn stood on the ruins. Grendel's fury flew overhead. Back at Union Command, the Council received word. The humans had killed a Hive Queen. The Kordak had lost half their forces. Vexernine might be saved. Revik slammed his hand on the table. "This is dangerous. These humans act like they own the stars." "Maybe they should," Tayla said. "They do what we fear to do. They take risks, and they protect those we left behind." The Council could not agree. But they could not ignore Earth anymore. On the ship, Luke watched the city below. It was still broken, but it was no longer lost. "They're learning to fight," Rachel said, standing beside him. "Yes," Luke replied. "And we're not done yet," Iris spoke. "New Kordak ship's entering system. Reinforcements? They will arrive in 10 hours. Luke nodded. "Then we prepare." "Let them come," Maria smiled. "We'll give them a warm welcome." Grendel's fury turned in the sky. Engines hummed. Lights glowed. The next battle was coming, and the Deathworlders were ready. The sky over Vexarnine was full of clouds and smoke. But under that sky, something new was happening. For the first time, the Zarn were fighting back. They were no longer just hiding. They moved through the ruins with weapons in their hands. They followed the humans. They learned quickly in the command room of Grendel's Fury. Captain Luke Harris looked at the map. The Kordak were still strong, but they were no longer in control. Hive towers had fallen, supply lines were broken, and the humans were still standing. "How many are left?" Luke asked. Iris answered, 3 hive clusters remain, 2 on the surface, 1 underground, all heavily guarded, and the Kordak fleet, 5. Ships entering orbit in 2 hours. Light destroyers, reinforcements. Luke turned to his team. "We'll deal with the ground. Iris, keep them off our backs in space." "Confirmed," Iris replied. Maria Quinn sat at her station. Her hands moved quickly. Over the keys. She was setting up a trap. "We can shut down their last command relay," she said. "But I'll need 10 minutes inside the main node." "We'll get you there," Luke said. Rachel Stone checked her rifle. She looked calm, but her eyes were sharp. "I'll cover you," Leo Carter loaded new rounds into his cannon. "Let's make it loud." They landed at the edge of the industrial zone. Broken buildings stood like skeletons. Pipes hissed steam. The ground was cracked. Kordak patrols moved between shadows. Maria led the way. She followed a map she had pulled from enemy files. The team moved fast. Rachel spotted drones and picked them off one by one. Leo handled the rest. They reached the command node. It was inside an old Zarn tower, now covered in Kordak growth. The walls pulsed red. Strange sounds echoed through the halls. "This is it," Maria said. She opened a panel and started the hack. Sparks flew. Her screen lit up with red and green codes. "Need more time?" she said. Luke stood at the door. Rachel took the high ground. Leo blocked the hallway. Then the Kordak came. They came fast, crawling on walls, flying through broken windows, firing plasma shots. Rachel hit one, then another. Leo held the hallway, his cannon roaring. "Still working," Maria said. "Keep at it," Luke replied. A drone flew too close. Rachel dropped it with one shot. Leo tossed a grenade. The blast shook the building. Dust filled the air. Maria smiled. "Got it!" The lights in the tower blinked. Then everything went dark. Across the city, Kordak units stopped moving, confused, blind. "Pull out," Luke said. They moved fast, out through the side door, into the ruins. The Kordak were slower now, less organized. The humans used this moment from the sky. Grendel's Fury opened fire. Its railguns hit hard. One shot smashed into a Kordak base, turning it into dust. Another hit a landing zone, destroying fresh reinforcements. Rachel found a tower with a broken top. She climbed it and set up her rifle. "I see the last surface." "Hive," she said. Luke answered. "Take it out." Rachel took a deep breath. The wind blew dust into the air. Her finger pulled the trigger. The shot flew straight. It passed through a hole in the hive wall and hit the central core. A second later, the hive exploded. Fire shot into the sky. The blast knocked over nearby towers. "Hive down," Rachel said. The Zarn, watching from the ruins, cheered. They picked up their weapons and charged. High Elder Sovo led the way. They moved as one no longer afraid. Underground, the last hive was waiting. Luke and his team entered through an old sewer gate. The air was thick. The tunnels were hot and narrow. "Stay close," Luke said. They moved through the dark. Strange sounds echoed around them. Maria scanned the walls. "The hive core is ahead," she said. The room opened up. Red lights blinked. The Queen was there, smaller than the first, but faster. She hissed when she saw them. "Now," Luke said. Leo fired first. The room shook. Rachel hit the lights with a shot. Darkness fell. Maria tossed an EMP bomb. The Queen screamed. Luke ran forward and placed a charge under her throne. He jumped back. The blast sent the Queen flying. Rachel finished it, one clean shot. The hive fell quiet. They returned to the surface. The Zarn had taken the east zone. Grendel's Fury flew overhead, clearing the skies. The Kordak fleet was broken. Iris had used fast strikes and clever moves to destroy 3 ships. The other 2 ran. Luke stood on a hill, watching the smoke rise. "They're running," Maria said. "We're not," Luke replied. The city was still in ruins. But now it belonged to the Zarn again. The Deathworlders had done the impossible. They turned the tide of war, and they were just getting started. The fires of Vexernine still burned, but the worst of the storm had passed. Most of the Kordak had been destroyed or had run. The Zarn survivors were cleaning the streets, setting up shelters, and helping the wounded. For the first time in many weeks, there was hope in their eyes. Grendel's Fury floated in low orbit, watching over the city. Inside, the crew rested, but only for a short while. Captain Luke Harris stood near the window of the command room, looking down at the planet. "We saved this world," he said softly. Rachel stood next to him. "Not everyone is happy about it, eh?" New signal had arrived from the Galactic Union. It was not a message of thanks, it was a command. The humans were ordered to leave Vexernine at once. A fleet from the Union was on its way to take over operations. "They want the credit," Maria said, reading the message on her screen. They waited until the danger was over. Leo growled. "We bled for this planet. We buried friends here." Luke didn't answer right away. He looked at the names of the fallen on a small screen near his seat. Then he spoke. "They can come. But we're not leaving yet. Not until this place is safe." The Union fleet arrived hours later, shining ships, perfect and clean. Their weapons were untouched. Their crews wore white uniforms. The fleet commander, Admiral Varen, sent another message. "You are ordered to retreat and hand over control of the planet to Union forces. Your mission is complete. Further action will be seen as disobedience." Luke stood tall as he replied, "With respect, sir, we will not leave. There are still threats on the ground. We stay until the job is finished." The screen went black. No answer came. High Elder Sovo came aboard Grendel's Fury. He had heard about the Union's arrival. "Will they take your place?" he asked. "They want to," Luke said. "But we're still needed. There's one more fight coming," Sovo nodded. "Then we fight with you again, just as predicted." The Kordak launched a final attack. A large swarm of ships entered the sky without warning. They had hidden in deep space. Now they rushed toward the planet with full force. Iris sounded the alarm. Incoming enemy ships. Impact in 20 minutes. Ground swarm forming on the south. "Ridge, this is it," Luke said to the team. "Last stand." He opened the comms to the Zarn fighters. "Everyone to the canyon. We set the trap there, block their path, make them come to us." The humans and Zarn moved fast. They placed charges along the canyon walls. They hid mines in the ground. Grendel's Fury prepared orbital strikes. Rachel set up her sniper post on a cliff. Maria linked the charges to her control pad. Leo dug in with a heavy cannon at the center. Then the Kordak came. Thousands of them rushed through the canyon, climbing. Over rocks, flying through the dust, the sky turned dark from their numbers. "Hold," Luke said calmly. The swarm got closer. The ground shook. The Zarn stood behind cover, ready but afraid. "Hold," Luke said again. Maria waited. Her finger hovered over the trigger. The first wave hit the mines. Explosions rocked the canyon floor. Screams echoed through the valley. Still, more came. Now Luke ordered. Maria pressed the button. The canyon walls exploded. Rocks crashed down. Dust filled the air. Dozens of Kordak units were crushed. Grendel's Fury fired from above. Bright lances of energy hit the back of the swarm, cutting them off. Rachel fired shot after shot. Each bullet found its target. Leo's cannon thundered. The Zarn joined the fight with rifles and grenades. For an hour, the battle raged, then silenced, the last Kordak unit fell. The dust settled. The canyon was full of smoke and broken machines. Luke stood slowly, his armor covered in dirt. He looked at his team. Everyone was alive. Tired, hurt, but alive. High Elder Sovo walked through the battlefield. "It's over," he said. "You did it." Luke shook his head. "We did it." Together, the next day the Union fleet finally came down. Admiral Varen walked through the ruins. He said little. He looked around, saw the damage, and saw the people standing strong. He met Luke outside the main shelter. "You ignored a direct order," Varen said. "Yes," Luke replied. "You risked everything, and we saved the planet." Varen was silent for a moment. Then he nodded once. "History will remember this. Maybe not with full truth, but it will remember." Luke smiled. We didn't come for history. We came to win. As the sun rose over Vexarnine, the Zarn raised their flag again. Children played in the streets, fighters rested, and above them, Grendel's fury watched over all. The Deathworlders had stood their ground, and they had not been broken. The sun rose over Vexarnine slowly. Warm light touched the broken towers and quiet streets. Smoke still drifted in the air, but the sound of battle was gone. For the first time in many weeks, the city was still. Children ran through the ruins, laughing. Zarn workers cleared rubble and began to rebuild walls. Families gathered around cooking fires. The planet had survived. It had suffered, but it was still alive. Captain Luke Harris stood on a hill near the edge of the city. He watched the Zarn begin their new life. High Elder Sovo stood beside him, both men quiet for a moment. "You gave us more than victory," Sovo said. "You gave us courage." Luke nodded. "You already had it. You just needed a reason to use it." Below them, Maria Quinn was helping a group of Zarn set up a power grid. She smiled as she explained how to use the small generator. Leo Carter was showing a group of young fighters how to clean and carry weapons. Rachel Stone sat on a rooftop, looking out across the land with her sniper rifle by her side. Always watching, Grendel's Fury stayed in low orbit. The ship had been damaged, but was still strong. Iris kept silent guard, watching for any sign of danger. A new message came from Earth. The President of the United Nations of Earth sent thanks to the team. He spoke proudly of what they had done. Awards and honors would wait for them back home, but for now, they had earned rest. Another message came from the Galactic Union. This one was different from before. There were no orders, no demands, only respect. The message read, "The actions of your unit on Vexarnine have changed how we see your kind. Your strength, your will, and your sacrifice will not be forgotten. Earth has proven its place in the Union." Luke read the message, then placed it in his file. He looked around at his team. "We did what we came to do," he said. "Now we help them finish rebuilding. Then we go home." Rachel looked at the sky. "It won't be the last time we're called." Maria nodded. "But next time they'll know what to expect." Leo laughed. "They'll know to call the Deathworlders." In the center of the city, the Zarn raised a new flag. It was their symbol, but with a new mark beside it. A mark of Earth, two worlds, now connected. Union diplomats arrived days later. They walked the streets in silence, seeing the results with their own eyes. They spoke to Sovo and to Luke, asked questions. This time they listened. One diplomat, a tall figure from the Fari race, spoke quietly with Luke. "Your methods are harsh, your ways are strange, but you win, and you protect." Luke simply said, "We do what must be done before." The team left. The Zarn held a small ceremony. It was not fancy, no medals, no big speeches. Just a simple thank you, given with hands over hearts and quiet tears. Sovo placed a small silver stone in Luke's hand. "This is a gift from our oldest mountain," he said. "It has survived storms and fire." Just like you, Luke kept the stone in his pocket. Grendel's Fury lifted off one last time from the surface of Vexarnine. The Zarn watched from below. Some waved, some saluted. The ship rose into the sky, leaving behind a world forever changed. Inside, the crew sat in the main room. They were quiet for a moment. Then Leo spoke. "You think the next planet will be worse?" Rachel gave a small smile. "Always is." Maria leaned back in her seat. "At least we'll be ready." Luke looked at his team. "We go where others won't. That's who we are." The ship turned toward deep space. New stars waited. New calls would come. The war on Vexarnine was over, but the story of Earth's Deathworlders was just beginning back on the planet. The Zarn built schools, homes, and new towers. They told stories to their children, stories of the dark days, of the monsters that came, and of the humans who fought like fire. They spoke of the ship that flew like a ghost, the woman who never missed a shot, the man who carried thunder in his hands, the hacker who danced with machines, and the captain who never stepped back. Legends began that day, legends that would travel across the stars. Aliens had asked for help. They had wanted reinforcements, but what they got was something far more powerful. They got the Deathworlders.